All right, starting off with what? How to describe this video? I don't even know. This is off the cuff. I was just watching this video, just popped up randomly on my stream of Senator Josh Hawley, and this just popped in my head. I just figured I'd share it right away. I think it's really easy if you feel like you're on one side or the other of politics or whatever issue that it is. It's very easy to get swept up into the emotions of people that claim to be representing your interests. But as Josh Hawley is doing what essentially looks like, I guess, a deposition, where he's interviewing or inquiring somebody that's there to present to Congress or to the Senate. And as he asks questions, he does everything that he can to manipulate the answers with his body language, and he indicates through nods or through a variety of different things that he does with the tone of his voice and his body language to essentially instruct the person that's there to instruct them what their answers should be. He asks, I think you would describe, I don't know that you could describe them as leading questions, but he's essentially leading the witness. Supposedly that's against the rules if you're in a court of law, right? But it's clearly what's going on. You can see the when I think these people, they don't care what side they're on. They care about power. And if they have momentum and they have the backing of millions of other people, then they have power. And that's what most of these people care about. And they look for ways that they can manipulate that power, and they can manipulate people in mass. And so they learn what the talking points are. That's why they're called talking points. They learn what they are so that they can represent them in a way that they know will move people. And that's mostly what they're concerned about, and that's why it's called a dog and pony show. That it's all essentially for show, and there's not a lot of action or change that actually takes place on the back end of these public skits, this public theater. And so I just wanted to encourage anybody that you get so wrapped up in the new rising star of your political movement. It doesn't seem. I think a true rising star should be speaking about true togetherness in a way that actually brings people together, not in a way that is just used to slight the other side. That's what so many of these phonies that are talking about togetherness do. Is they always talk about if they want to use a very positive topic to their own advantage, they use noble words or noble ideas as weapons to essentially highlight the difference between themselves, and they paint themselves as the good guy and the others as the bad guy. And so they speak about inclusivity or togetherness or whatever it is. And I think both sides do this. I don't think that there fundamentally is a side. People have an infinite variety of different perspectives, but we're fundamentally all on the same side. We all should be on the same side. There's the side of wanting good things for good people, and then there's the side of sort of the opposite of that. It's essentially good versus evil. So if overall you try to better yourself and hold yourself to a standard, and you want good things in the world, then you would be on the side of good, and otherwise you'd be on the side of bad. There are different ways of like there tends to be things that exist on a spectrum. There tends to be a left side of thinking about things and a right side of things, or a conservative and a liberal side of thinking of things, but nobody is like uniform in the way that they think. That's why people describe that's a cult, is if the members of a particular organization or ideology all think exactly the same, that's a cult. And then there's no individual. The individual doesn't matter. It's just a central power that has total power over all the individuals, and the individuals just adhere to that. That's a cult. So I don't think cults are healthy. A healthy organization should have a lot of variety of different opinion that exists within it, and you don't have to agree with everything to be part of an organization, and it's impossible. Nobody's going to ever, in the history of the world, of the past or the future, will ever just agree completely on like anything. There's nuance to everything. You're going to have slight disagreements about almost whatever it is, and so. But yeah, I think as somebody that tends to think in more of a conservative, traditional fashion, I think it's a mistake that a lot of the people that tend to agree with me make, is we get caught up into the emotions of these so-called leaders that are really just after the power and don't really stand for much. At least that's the way it seems for me from where I'm at. And I just feel like, to me, I think it's really easy to see. It's in the way these things are conducted. When I'm watching Josh Hawley's body language, as he's talking about, what are horrific things, he's unbelievably casual about it. And truly, the only thing that you can see that he really cares about is driving his point home and winning his argument. And that's just the way it comes across to me, and that seems to be exactly the same on both sides. It's one side trying to paint the other side as good or bad, and then guess what? You'll have somebody that's staunchly on one side and is one of the biggest voices of that side, or has just such a strong voice of always arguing for those points of view, and then all of a sudden they will become the other side. And the reason that happens, in my estimation, is simply because they are opportunistic, and they see that they see that they're losing momentum or traction within that situation, and they see an opportunity to swing all that momentum and move it into the other, because they know other people will back them from that side. When they know that people from the side that they were initially against will then back them, and they'll have the support of that group. They see an opportunity within that group to rally or to seize that the following, or the joint energy of that group. If that makes sense, what I'm saying, it's just opportunistic behavior. Most of these changes, in my estimation, that where somebody is on one side and then dramatically shifts to the other, they aren't authentic shifts in ideology. They're simply opportunistic efforts to maintain or seize more power. They know that if they switch ideologies, they're going to have a substantial number of people that are going to say, see, even this person is leaving you. And it's all just about this battle between the two sides and which side is going to win. And what's lost in all of that is all of the nuance that actually matters. Who cares if what is decides? How about just take care of the person to your left, take care of the person to your right? How about that's left and right? You take care of the person to your left and you're to your right.